Every day I go onto Twitter and every day I see people saying, bring back ECW, bring back ECW, bring back ECW. And I know a lot of people say, but the product hasn't aged that well, and you know the wrestlers are all in their 50s and 60s now. They can't still wrestle. That's not a very good idea to bring it back. And in my opinion, I think everyone's being way too pessimistic here. I think ECW is going to be just fine if you bring it back now, and that's what I'm going to do in today's video. I'm going to go into TEW 2020 and I'm going to bring back ECW just like the old days, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so for copyright reasons, I'm just going to call it ECW 2. Property of, what is that? RT1! No way! That's the National Broadcaster of Ireland, for those of you that don't know. Later tonight, Miriam guides us through the beautiful fields of Ballina, County Mayo on Nationwide. But first, Tommy and Raven try to coexist, and New Jack slits his colleague's throat. It's ECW. I'm going to change his name to Rob Van Darn, just because I don't really like bad language. Oh my god, they have Extreme Warfare Revenge legend Sophie in this game. That's who we're picking. I've gone with Joey Styles and Todd Grisham on commentary. A nice mesh of styles from two different really good eras. RT1 for some reason don't want to negotiate with us, and that kind of hurts my heart a little bit. But that's okay, we can just, you know, get a TV deal with someone who wants to negotiate with us, and we'll just see who that is at the minute. You know what? TV's overrated anyway. I mean, you're watching YouTube right now instead of your TV, so who really needs a TV deal when you think about it? The one problem we do have, though, is that a lot of our top stars are signed in other companies right now, so we're going to try and unlock the forbidden door, hop in with the lads, and get a relationship going with AEW. Oh, alright AEW, if that's the way you want to do it. Guess who's going to have a negative story about them in the press tomorrow morning, yeah? Now, I used to be really strict with this last time I played TEW. I used to fire anyone who caused any sort of incident. But now, I'm just going to let every single incident go unpunished, and we'll see how it goes. Actually, I'm going to take it even further. You see here, Joey Mercury and Raven got into a fight. I think we should put that on the card. So, here's the card for our first ECW show back. ECW 2 One Night Stand, for those of you that want to know the name of it. Shane Douglas and Danny Doring will have a death match to open the show. Then there'll be a death match between Joey Mercury and Raven. Then there'll be a 3 versus 3 where BWO, we're basically building up a trios division. So we want BWO to solidify themselves at the top of that division by beating 3 ECW legends. And then in the main event, the winners of the first 2 death matches have another death match to determine who the ECW World Heavyweight Champion is. So that'll be Raven, and I'm very happy with how the card's lined up. Okay, so Shane Douglas has refused to compete in a death match, and this got me thinking, perhaps death matches aren't the way to go anymore. Perhaps in 2021, if we're bringing back ECW and all the ECW originals, perhaps we need to give them a chance to prove themselves as pure technical wrestlers. So that's what we're going to do this time around, just to, you know, lessen the punishment a little bit and hopefully possibly boost the quality of the show. And already we're off to an excellent start. As you can see, the match got the crowd hotter, the match got the show off to a strong start. That's what you want to see. Okay, a couple of roadblocks there in the form of injuries, but I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. Now, the main event, of course, it's a little bit controversial. You know, a couple of moany Michaels, as I call them, a couple of critics. I just don't think they like wrestling, to be honest. I think they like to complain, because that show's a banger. The fans really enjoy that one. Now, I have to say, I fucking hate this, right? Danny Doring is being accused of politicking himself into better positions. I will never give in to a wrestler who tries to politic themselves into a better position on the card, alright? Never. Okay, I didn't know what this was at first. This is the negative story that I tried to send about AEW the other day. It turns out we accidentally accused AIW of being Nazis rather than AEW, so sorry about that. Bubba Ray Dudley and Rob Van Darn are having a scrap, so we're going to probably have them as the opener of the next show. Shane Douglas and Al Snow are scrapping, so we'll throw them in as well. Again, we're building up our trios division. We're going to have BWO beat Juventud Guerrera, Super Crazy, and Psychosis. And in the main event, we're actually going to have Danny Doring win the ECW title in 1 minute off Raven. So that's something to look forward to. And would you look at that, surprise, surprise, the show has increased the popularity of the company in one region, and that is really to be expected. It was a really good show. We actually had a 33.3% increase on our overall attendance as well, which should come as no surprise. This isn't relevant to what we're doing, but Billy Kay is apparently going out with Big E, and to me that is just the dream couple, so I'm just going to include that. The TV title, right? I think that's what we're lacking right now. The TV title, the sort of workhorse, pure technical champion that defends every single week. That's what we need. So when you think of who in 2021 would be most suitable out of the ECW alumni to hold that title, obviously Rob Van Dam is the name that comes to mind for a lot of people. So he's going to be the one who loses to New Jack in the first match. And then BWO, they're going to be going up against Terry Funk, Al Snow, and it was meant to be Mick Foley, but he's not set as a wrestler, and I don't know how to change it because I don't know how to play this game. So instead, we're going to include Mil Muertes, who was apparently in ECW back in the day. So there you go. Danny Doring smashes the Sandman and defends his title successfully in the main event. Again, you have to focus on sending the fans home happy, so good to see that we've done that. An excellent opener, an excellent show overall, and again, we're growing in numbers. Oh, fuck. There goes one of our big surprises. Also, someone sent me an email saying that Bubba Ray Dudley has been manipulating the locker room against Rob Van Dam, and now apparently the Blue Meanie hates him. I don't really know who emailed that to me or why, but thanks for the information. He walked out on us anyway. Stevie Richards has also walked out on us, so that puts a bit of a spanner in the works. Raven has also walked out, but you know, these are just talent that aren't loyal to the cause that is bringing back ECW in 2021, so we're better off without them. I think with the BWO out, we have to rewrite our plans for the trios titles, so instead what we're going to do is we're going to have Funk, Muertes and Snow against Guerrera, Psychosis and Super Crazy, and this time the Luchadors are going to win, but after the match, we're going to bring back one of ECW's top trios to get the crowd going crazy and hype for the next show. So that's when Extreme Expose come in, and everybody's going to be losing their shit. And that's before we get to the TV title match. New Jack versus Kid Cash. New Jack, of course, retains. Then we have the Blue Meanie versus Rob Van Dam. And in the main event, Danny Doring continues his streak of beating ECW legends in a minute when he beats Sabu and retains the ECW World title. And to the surprise of absolutely no one, the Extreme Expose segment was an absolute success, and it got us our highest rated segment so far under my tenure. Sabu has walked out on ECW, Super Crazy has walked out on ECW, Al Snow has walked out on ECW, and Rob Van Dam has walked out on ECW. But you know who hasn't walked out on ECW? New Jack. He just turned up very late to the locker room, and am I gonna punish him for it? Am I fuck? Are you gonna tell New Jack that he's fined or fired or suspended? Because I'm not. Brooke Adams has failed to arrive at a meeting with a road agent. Honestly, I don't really see how that's an issue. I think she's one of the best in the world at what she does. I don't really see why she needs a road agent, to be honest. But in our next show, right now, this is where things take a proper turn for the good, I feel. We're opening it with Just Incredible versus Sandman. Again, a very technical affair. But then after the fight, Bam Neely comes out. And that's when the crowd, we heard them deafen the place earlier when Extreme Expose came out. When Bam Neely comes out, I actually think the roof might fall off the building. That's what's really scary about it. So I hope that architecture is strong. There's going to be a title change because New Jack is actually going to lose the TV title to a technical legend in Chavo Guerrero. Then we get the match advertised from last week, Extreme Expose against Juventud Guerrera, Super Crazy and Psychosis. But Super Crazy walked out, and for some reason Layla isn't listed as a wrestler, so we're going to have to replace them with Kevin Thorne and Mike Knox. Then Danny Doring beats Terry Funk in under a minute to retain the ECW World title. Okay, this has to be a glitch. The lack of anything interesting happening in the Bam Neely segment was a problem, and the angle brought the crowd down. Zero! No, that has to be a glitch, because look as well what happened. Look what happened in the match with Psychosis, Guerrera and Mike Knox against Extreme Expose and Kevin Thorne. That would not happen in reality. The crowd would be way happier than that. So clearly, that's just a fault with the game rather than my booking. 16 fans. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. Like, what? Compared to 6, that's a big increase. The Sandman walked away, but I haven't. So we're going to continue with the next show. Mil Muertes is going to kill Spike Dudley in the opener. And then, who comes out? Bam Neely. Chavo Guerrero defends his TV title against Snitsky. And can we take a minute to appreciate how jacked and happy Snitsky looks in 2021? You love to see it. Then we get Kevin Thorne versus the Blue Meanie. But who attacks Nova backstage? Extreme Expose. And that leads to Kevin Thorne winning the match. And we're going to that'll build to something, right? That'll build to something. It's long-term booking, as the cool kids say. So it'll make sense in a minute. Danny Doring then defends his ECW title in less than a minute against Shane Douglas. And the Bam Neely segment got a 5, so a really steady improvement there. Okay, Kevin Thorne quit, so the long-term plans have been kind of thrown to the side here. He was meant to be our ace, as the cool kids say. Oh, I'm just sick of it. I have never once been politicked by a wrestler into giving them a better spot on the card, and it won't happen again with Kelly Kelly. Terry Funk has walked out, and he will regret that decision because he's going to miss out on another banging card, right? Bam Neely beats Mil Muertes. Then Chavo Guerrero defends his title successfully against Hardcore Holly. And people are going to go crazy because obviously the ECW faithful love hardcore wrestling. And he's called Hardcore. So he's made for the brand. So they're going to be losing their shit for Hardcore Holly. But after Chavo wins the match, who comes out? None other than Bam Neely. And we get a La Familia stare down reunion. Oh man, I'm deaf listening to that pop and just the tension in the air as they stare each other down. Oh man, it's going to be something else. But the main event, Danny Doring beats yet another ECW legend in less than a minute in New Jack. But then, after the main event, who comes out? None other than the real ECW champion, Ezekiel Jackson. And he comes out, there's a stare down, going into the next show, you know what that means. Danny Doring versus Ezekiel Jackson for the ECW title. I can't wait. But plans change. You know, plans change all the time. It's something that we'll deal with. It's not an issue. So, the next show is actually going to be a 2-match card. You know, these shows are 2 hours long, by the way. So it's going to be an hour for each match, which when you see the matches, you'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. The first one is, of course, a TV title technical affair. Bam Neely, Chavo Guerrero, La Familia. They actually go to a time limit draw in this match, so it leaves the fans wanting more. And then Danny Doring defends against another ECW legend in Kelly Kelly, except this time Kelly Kelly wins. So, new ECW champion. The main event got an 8, which sounds pretty good to me. Again, lots of Moni Michaels that don't really care about the wrestling, but I mean, I don't really value their opinion. The show overall did really well. New Jack has quit, and that is probably my cue to leave.